deemed the celebrity whisperer by Playboy.
This is the best interview of the day.
Thanks for having me.
You hit the nail on the head.
100%.
Period, yeah.
Touch them. They're cracking me up.
Wear them, baby. She's good.
Taylor Ferber.
I have a brain that actually works, and because of that, I actually found the Sabrina Carpenter, Jenna Ortega surprise makeout kiss on the new Sabrina Carpenter music video song. So fun, so unexpected. Like, yes, we as millennials, like, we've been there, done that. It's, you know, the resurrected version of the Christina, Britney, Madonna makeout from the VMAs. Like, how could we forget? But, you know, I'll give it to these gals for trying to like bring it in for this generation, you know, and like throw them a bone. So that's okay. But we have people out there. I swear to God, this is why you can't trust a bitch on TikTok, okay? Because despite the fact that this was, you know, fun, unexpected, like we are in such a no fun club that my floating head here, that's right, Talk to Me Taylor, is on the go. We are on the road. We will stop at nothing to come in and tell you the truth. Like, we are landing like a UFO like SpaceX or Elon has never seen coming, okay? But we are in such a no fun club society that has infiltrated our culture that there are TikToks abound criticizing Sabrina Carpenter for queer baiting. Like, can we have any fun? Again, I don't even care if we already saw this in the 2000s with Britney and Christina. Like, I don't care. I'm here for it. Let's have a good time. Nope, not allowed. That shit is getting checked at the door. It's not happening. They're taking your fake IDs and they're putting them into the abyss, okay? Because people are literally accusing her of this. And they're going on these entire TikTok diatribes, oral dissertations about, well, Sabrina Carpenter didn't really say she was queer, and, you know, is she queer? But she's like, you know, doing this thing with Jenna Ortega, who's another huge star right now, right? These like two Gen Z stars. Who fucking cares? Let the hot girls make out, and we need a little joy in this bleak existence, okay? And let's go on with our day. But no. Moreover, the part about this that I really like, and people can say too, like, is this just a marketing ploy? Of course it is, bitch. Not only is this the no fun club society, it is the shameless society. And we will do what we have to do to be seen. We know this already. However, I'm not above this type of shamelessness. Like, they put their money where their mouth is and their mouths on each other. And so let's have at it, right? But what I really loved about this is that you see, it's funny because I thought Sabrina is having her moment right now. And you guys know, I love a Sabrina Carpenter moment. I love how hard she commits to like the over the top feminine boudoir, like lingerie, sexy, ultra girly, like persona. I love the whole thing. And she's really having her moment right now. And her marketing team is a fucking genius, right? And I thought about how she's coming out with this big splash and how other women in the music industry may feel competitive, like, oh, like, you know, we got a lot of egos, we got a lot of divas, you know, to put in check. And I thought, you know, like, are they feeling a type of way? Namely, it's funny, I don't know if you guys thought this listening to the album. I'm not typically like a listen through an album kind of gal, but with this I did because, you know, it's short and sweet and all, just like yours truly. And so for that, I had to pay respect where respect is due. But there were parts where it's a little sidebar, but where Sabrina almost sounds like Ariana Grande, especially in the ones that are a little like hip hoppy. I was wondering, like, oh, is Ariana over there like, this bitch is raining on me and my Wicked parade? Like, no one cares about Wicked suddenly. It's like her big summer debut of the moment. Like, no one cares, right? Because like I said, Sabrina's having her moment. But I digress a little bit because what was really cool to me, right, to see is because of this, like, y'all know we are in this tribal, divisive, psychotic, and unhinged culture. And women have historically been like this. We know this, like petty, catty beefs. It goes on and on. Like, you know, Taylor Swift with everyone she's ever seen, you know, Nicki and Mariah, like, where do I even begin, right? So that is what was in and of itself fun to see these like really like hot women, up and coming women, like killing it right now, to collab in this way. Like, again, their lids on each other's lids. I'm talking about their mouths, okay, you dirty minds. And the idea of putting your ego aside to create that creative genius, right? To create that little bit of magic. And we've so lost sight of that. And it got me thinking too, especially as it pertains to women. You guys know I will call out a faux feminism. Like, I think that there's a line. I will happily call out, like, oh, put women up and, prop them up and like women, yay, rah, rah, and everything women do is absolutely unicorn rainbows and they pee butterflies. It's like, no, like that's not necessarily true. However, when it comes to this, when do the beefs, the rivals, like when does it just go too far? Nobody wins, like to what end? And what do you really get from it after all? I think about it. It's like, again, it doesn't have to be the fake, like lift each other up. But I think about like the hardcore beefs, so whether be it in entertainment, and the guys be whipping their dicks out and having beef with each other too. We know this. But in the end, it's like, it's good for your ego, right? And trust me, again, I have ego and stake in literally everything I do. Like, I will fight until I'm the last man standing and be the one on top and come out reigning supreme and be right and whatever it is. And on top, in whatever way, you interpret that. But in the end, where does that really get you? And it got me thinking about this entire culture at large and how it's played out now. And how everything, and I know I talk about this concept a lot, but like the us versus them mentality. But today's a little bit of a different angle because I think of it in this respect. Again, it's like, where does the beef or the rival or the team like get you versus coming together? And again, it doesn't have to be in a fake way. It could be like, we have our differences, but like, what could we create here that's good? Like, how can we have a good time? How could we make art? I mean, even think about Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian and that beef, right? What are they really winning? Like, imagine these two bitches came together. It would literally be world domination, like who and who, because these bitches would literally take over the stratosphere if they brought both of their bases together. But in the end, it's like, what are you really getting? Staying so far apart and like digging your heels in. And again, it doesn't have to be in a fake ring around the rosy way. It's crazy to me how it's all played out, even especially in our culture when it comes to, say, celebrities, right? Who were once so beloved, whether it be by like culture at large or the media or the elite or, what have you. And for whatever reason, maybe it be a life choice or a view or an ideology or something they said or they did, suddenly a flip is switched. Like a candle is struck. Like this shit is hocus pocus on All Hallows Eve. And the skeletons and the witches come out indeed, because it's like they are just, abandoned. They are all bad. And we see no good or redeeming qualities in them whatsoever. It's like they can't be both things at once, right? And it's sad. And speaking of Taylor Swift, a good example of this, I don't know if you guys saw this, okay? This is run by the same organization of the lunatics on side who are claiming that Sabrina Carpenter is queerbaiting, okay? Like, these people, seriously, babe, it's called an organized sport. Like, go try it and let me know how that goes. But until then, have you seen that Taylor Swift fans are going bonkers because Travis Kelce was seen walking out at a stadium game with Morgan Wallen, who people think is a racist? I'm going to go down that rabbit hole right now, okay? I don't have the strength for that today. The Swifties are losing their mind. God forbid for Travis Kelce committing the crime of being seen and friendly with Morgan Wallen, who is not even a racist, but they decided he is. And now it's a whole rampage of Travis Kelce is trash. Taylor Swift can do better. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing makes sense. No chill is had. It is literally absolutely absurd. How about open your ears and have a good time? Like, if you don't get down to Morgan Wallen's Cowgirls, bitch, you don't have a soul. Like, do some soul searching, go into the cauldron of your heart and see if anything is in there, right? But that's a perfect example how we will just switch on somebody and not be able to see, again, that both things can be true in a person. Or, admire and acknowledge and respect one thing but maybe also being like, you know what, I don't agree with this, and really, like, again, coming together and seeing the whole of a person. Like Sabrina Carpenter may or may not be seeing other women's holds. I don't know. And frankly, I don't give a fuck, right? But apparently people on TikTok have a personal stake in this and are basing their entire thesis on it, like I said. But another example, right? Like, let's just go through a couple here before I get to the big kahuna of what's actually going on in politics in a way that we see this that is so visceral and so on top of our head that we can't escape it. But think about, here's a few like controversial figures, controversial folk. Until I get them in on the Talk to Me Taylor action, we're just going to talk about them instead, okay? But Elon Musk is somebody, when you think about it, who people, again, the elite, the media, used to love, right? But all of it, like, is such a visionary, such a genius, truly innovative, and namely and specifically created, ran fucking Tesla to have this environmental friendly automobile, which they are all, here for the environment, making the planet cleaner.
Do you want to see the car? Yeah! Well, we don't have it for you tonight. I'm just kidding, of course. It's April Fool's somewhere.
But no, now Elon Musk has controversial, views in their opinion, or God forbid has some conservative views in their opinion. Everything that Elon Musk, like him breathing, him blinking, anything he has ever done is void. It should not exist, and he is the devil. What? People, like, honestly, get your brains checked. Get your brains checked. Again, why can't both things be true? Why can't it be true that Elon Musk has some views over here, and he's also creating the vehicle literally to create a greener, more, you guys are all about climate change, this environmental friendly, like I said, that you jerk off to this, but no, like, can't give it any acknowledgement, this side of the Mississippi. Another example, we're going to get to Kanye. We're going to do a little Kanye example, right? But even J.K. Rowling, this is something, my ringtone is Harry Potter, bitch, okay? So I know this experience. I can speak from the heart on this one. I don't need to do a TikTok dive for some other nonsense like these other people. J.K. Rowling, when you think about it, was so beloved and adored and worshipped for so many reasons. One being, like, before we go into the depths of Hogwarts, right? One being, not me, not Hermione, you.
Not me, not Hermione, you
are going to go into the depths of Hogwarts and understand how first she was so beloved because as a woman, all that she did in literature, in media, creating, the money she had made and the empire she created that just literally fucking took over the world and, for lack of a better term, broke the glass ceiling, right? For a woman who created this media and entertainment empire that was Harry Potter, that really was history making and record breaking. And we really hadn't seen anything like that, right? So she was so worshipped, so beloved, so cherished for being a woman and really breaking those boundaries. Then let's take it to, okay, for the muggles who need their education, the fact that when you really look at Harry Potter, how people wanted, and kids saw themselves in that story, but how people wanted their kids to get lost in it and be in that experience. Because when you think about it, Harry Potter really kind of glorified the freak, right? Harry Potter was the outcast, the weirdo, and the muggles are almost like what conservatives were then, like all uptight and controlling everyone and everything's taboo and you're a freak and you're weird. Ironically, even though now it's become this whole flip thing where J.K. Rowling is apparently this like lunatic right-wing conservative, even though she's not, and the left hates her, she, you may not know this, got so much shit for Harry Potter when it was in its prime because conservative parents were like, oh, I don't want my kids seeing that witchy witchcraft weirdo stuff. Like, no, stay away from that. Like the devil, the power of Christ compels you. And so the twist of events that we have now, people often forget that, how Harry Potter really is a story of the underdog, the outcast, like the weirdo, the freak, being the hero and finding their place. And now, because J.K. Rowling has voiced concerns about protecting women and protecting how far women have come and the gains of women, and maybe reflecting some conservative sentiment, she's suddenly this like bigoted extremist fascist. So again, we're just gonna write everything else up as void, put all the Harry Potters in the world in a paper shredder, and be so down and out and on with our day, and we feel so betrayed by J.K. Rowling. It's like, what? Again, what 2.0? Make it make sense. I would be remiss if I didn't also, I know we've talked about her recently, if I didn't also bring up Caitlyn Jenner in this conversation, right? Forget the fact that Caitlyn Jenner was the most famous athlete in the world for some time, right? And the achievements there. But the fact that, and I know because I was in the balls deep, okay, in the media at this time, I was a writer at VH1 when Caitlyn Jenner came out as trans. You guys remember the Barbara Walter interviews, the Vanity Fair cover, Call Me Caitlyn? I remember doing interviews on the Tony's red carpet at the time with Judith Light. All these people were like, I just think it's outstanding. I just think it's absolutely incredible. This, beacon and this role model and this idol of somebody, according to the mainstream or media or the left, if you want to call it, who was just this like immediate icon and so brave. And, the example of, what should be and the first of its kind and, a whole fucking spectacle. Okay. Again, I know I was there, can't be unseen. But now, because again, this is somebody who performed at the highest level in athletics at the Olympics and won as a man, because Caitlyn Jenner is vocal about, is the science sciencing? Is the math mathing? Like, are we, making sense here when it comes to sports, women in sports, who they're competing against, like, again, coming from the most notable trans person herself. And because of that, instantly demonized, instant villain, nothing she ever says or does can be correct. Is she chopped off her penis, she has a vagina, and is a living transphobe to tell the tale. I can tell her story. Guys, again, it's not hard. Just one brain cell. Just one, right? Think about two if you're a person on the other end of this who's like, put all this work in. And then suddenly, like, people flip the switch on you like this. Okay? Lastly, this is a spicy one, but it's Kanye. How Kanye was really noted as somebody who, Black man, again, really innovative, but who truly was, like, I spoke with someone the other day who's a high up, really like mover and shaker, hobnobbing, knows everybody in the like high up exec in the music industry. And he said to me, like, this is super controversial, but I will go on record to say that Kanye is basically the best rapper of all time. It is the most inventive, the most creative, the most game changing. Nobody has ever created art or changed the game like him. And everybody just tries to emulate him ever since. And every single thing he does has been like different, totally unlike what we'd seen. Again, totally invented. Everyone just tries to mimic it. And, suddenly now, it's like, first of all, to even say that, it's like, no, can't enjoy his music, right? Because now it's this whole thing. And you guys know, obviously, the whole debate of, is he an anti-Semite? I'm a Jew. I've talked about this. I've explored this. I've flirted with a little bit. Like, that, all of that aside, again, I'm not going to get into that today. Even like now people write him off as like not only a huge anti-Semite, but like just unhinged, bipolar, and he doesn't even know, like nothing he even does makes sense. And, he's just crazy. He's just nutty, and it's like, okay.
Well, success for me, for Tesla, is that we've accelerated the advent of electric cars by at least 5 years. So that should
Drug
be.
dealing just to get by. Stack your money till it gets sky high. We wasn't supposed to make it past 25. Joke's on you, we still alive. Throw your hands up in the sky and say, we don't care what people say.
Right.
Okay, but can't, again, no matter how much I like wholeheartedly disagree with some things he says, does, whatever it is, like the fact that he gave Kim Kardashian shit for being sexual, but like his wife wears dental floss out as a costume everywhere they go. Like, I don't know. But I can appreciate him for the artist and the true renegade and innovator that he was and is, you know? And so now we're seeing all of this, but in the best world of all, politics, for the love of God help you all and us all, right? But with RFK endorsing Trump. So this is, again, a great example of somebody who was so, beloved and now so despised, even in the face of, call it a Jenna, Sabrina makeout unexpectedly, if you will, collaboration, so to speak, with Trump. This is somebody who's arguably one of the most famous, the Kennedys, the most famous political name in history in this country. Lifelong, history-long Democrats. Again, loved, adored, the whole thing. Think about it this way, the work that RFK Jr. has put in, there would be no Green New Deal without him, okay? Like another thing that the left literally jizzes on. And yet, because he comes out, drops out of the race, and endorses Trump, he is now the spawn of Satan. And it's so sad because if you look at it, I had someone say to me, the fact that it's kind of like where I started all of this with the Jenna, Sabrina putting ego aside and, coming together however you want that to be, right? I doubt RFK and Trump are coming together, but they're coming respectively to their own things and probably their own selves. Don't you worry about that. But someone said to me, it makes RFK. I've always been an RFK fan personally. Like people always ask me. I always just thought he would just spit common sense, like everything he would say for the most part, except for like the obscure stories here or there, if he of how he would like skin a goat and eat it or whatever it would be, like made sense to me. But someone said to me, it's so much more attractive to me. Like not only is he political zaddy, like for sure, but so much more appealing that he could put his ego aside and say, hey, I don't agree with everything that Trump is about, but I'm willing to do this and move forward in a unity government to put our differences aside and create more change and help see eye to eye and actually be productive and get things done, right? That'll be a win-win. Like it's so much more attractive and appealing. And it's true, right? And it's so rare. Like it's so rare and it's so sad to think like, how did we even get here? How did we even get here to where you have people who are bashing, again, how can you bash this concept of like, yeah, we're different. We don't see eye to eye on things and we'll have our disagreements, but like, here's what we can build together, or you have people, even his own family bashing him. Keith Olbermann, which literally tore him 17 new assholes. Don't even get me started on that guy. Like he is so angry. He is somebody who needs to come together with somebody. Even Mia Farrow tweeted something to the effect of like, your dad and your uncle would be so ashamed and as if he's so poisonous and so evil. And that's how blinded we are by all of this. And I also believe RFK Jr. when he says, my dad and my uncle, this is like, again, a whole other ball of wax, but they would not recognize or support the Democratic Party. Like the OG liberals, like that's what I'm talking about. Like the OGs like would not even recognize this or be for this, like how corrupt and toxic and destructive that it is today, right? But it just goes to show you how much more power there is in putting ego aside, in collaborating, like in, joining forces and, bringing minds together and what can come from that, right? Like the spontaneity, the creativity, the fun, and so it brings me all back to where we started, back to the beginning of the Jenna Sabrina makeout. Listen, I'm a girl. I'm definitely like an every man for themselves. I'm competitive, again, like capitalism, let's go, right? Here for it. I also think there's something to be said in looking at all of this, right? Like the beauty in seeing both things about somebody and appreciating this while also acknowledging that and putting ego aside and really, creating, and how we have been in this, win-lose culture for so long. Or again, us versus them. We win, you lose, right? Even the fact that like historically when presidents concede, they will say something respectful, even if it's phony as shit, which we know politics are anyway for the most part. Something respectful about the winner, and they're going to do a great job, and that's literally, I think, up until Hillary Clinton. This is where TikTok was valuable for once in my life. Up until Hillary Clinton, like I think she even did it with Trump, but when Trump lost in 2020, like how he couldn't even do it.
Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country.
With Biden, and it's like, how did we even get here? How did we even get to this place? And for me, I would really love to see us get to a, like, whatever, this sounds a little like Girl Scouty, but a win-win-win, right? Like I win, you win, and we all win. And I don't know about you, but even the Sabrina Carpenter Jenna moment, I think they are both winning. And I will tell you this, as a viewer, I most certainly am winning as well. I am winning in this experience. I'm having a good time. And I'm straight. But I'm queer baiting all of you in that, right? And so one last thing I'll leave you with is, there are people who even like disagree with what I do. But even be people in my close circle or family, whatever it is, like the whole like Barbie doll, oh no, you shouldn't dress like that. You need to be taken seriously, or even like ideas, Anomaly and I talked about, even on our shows, we're both super outspoken and we're super honest. And we talk about like, do we take into consideration or into mind what we say about big figures if we want them on our show one day, like to not rock the boat one day, to not rock the boat too much, or not, starch it too much. And, I still may want to have so-and-so on my show and stay in their good graces. So, I'm going to watch myself. And it's like, no, the whole beauty of the win-win-win in my mind is that I can have my view, you guys can have your view, and like, let's agree to disagree, or let's see where we can come together and what we can agree on. And that's cool. It's kind of like that unspoken thing of like, okay, like, I can think this and you can think this, and it's all fine. And I think that we really have to get back to a place of to that place. And the last thing I'll say is like, as we go into this election too, the idea, right, of like everybody winning. A friend of mine recently told me a story of when they were younger, how I think it was like maybe when, Obama won the first term or second term, right? And they were younger, and the teacher at the time said something to the effect, and I think this is more like a conservative community. And the teacher said something to the effect of, whether or not, you like them or you voted for them, like they're our leader now, and we need to like back that and get behind that, right? So to bring it all back to where this started, politics may or may not be your jam, but I think a little of that nuance, collaboration, spontaneity, like I said, fun, art creation is a win-win-win. And in the presidency of our moment of the time, sure, more orchestrated girl-on-girl music video kisses. You know what? Why the hell not? Because I'll tell you what, in that scenario, we're all winning.